Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Candid Campus. I'm your host, Lauren Lucas, and today I'm joined by the director of the Etherredge Center and professor of theater, Paul Crook. Paul, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Let's get right into it.
Okay.
You lived in both Missouri, Alabama, and now South Carolina. Where do you feel the most at home and why?
I think here at Aiken, we've been here now for 8 years, and we moved here, for the job, but also to be closer to my wife's family, and we love being in here. It's a great town. We have a great place to raise kids and a lot of stuff to do. So I really do think that this is home as much as any place.
There you go. You've been at USCA Aiken for 8 years.
Yep.
What's something about this campus that still surprises you?
I am still surprised. I shouldn't be, but I'm still surprised by the quality of experience that we can provide students at USCA Aiken. I've taught at large universities, I've taught at small universities, and in between, and consistently what we can do for students here at USCA Aiken is the equal of any large R1 university, and I'm continuously surprised and proud of the work that we do for that.
That's awesome. So what is your story and how did you end up in theater and the arts?
Well, travel back in time with me. I guess it is. Probably when I was about 7 years old, which I won't tell you what year that was, my parents, we were living in St. Louis, and my parents took me. There's a wonderful outdoor theater in St. Louis called the Muni Opera, and we went and saw a Broadway tour of a show called The King and I. The star of that show was a man named Yul Brynner, who had been a huge TV and Broadway star and movie star throughout the mid-20th century. He was in the last, probably 6 or 7 years of his life at that point, and he'd been playing the role of the king in The King and I for many, many years, and he was brilliant at it. And we saw that show, and like I said, I was probably 7 years old, and I fell in love with it, and I said, that's what I want to do. I want to do that. I want to be on stage. I want to be a part of that world, and I kind of have been ever since.
There you go. That's an amazing story, and I feel like a lot of people that are actors and in theater, the way they get into it is by watching it themselves.
Oh, sure, absolutely. A light switch gets flipped on somewhere in your brain, and you think, oh, I can do that. That would be kind of fun.
Awesome. So, as director of the Etherredge Center, what is one show or event that has really stuck with you?
Well, I'll give you two answers. One of the largest events that we put together since I've been here was a concert by the Four Tops. Four Tops is a legendary Hall of Fame, Music Hall of Fame group, Motown group from the 60s and 70s. And when we presented them, there was, by that time, only one surviving member of the original group left. And he was wonderful to work with. And we had just a lovely evening, great concert, and it was a good time was had by all. So I think that was really cool. This year has been, I'll give you the one from this year that I think has been really, really great, was a show called Dino Light that we had last semester, and it was performers touring wearing custom-made kind of fluorescent tubes, so they perform with the lights out, and they create dinosaurs and tell this lovely story. And it was a wonderful family experience. We had several hundred people at the Etherredge Center and had little kids there. It's fun to see their eyes light up and love things like that.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
What do you wish more students understood about theater or the arts?
I think that, well, that's a loaded question. There's a lot that I could say about that, and I'll try not to spend 3 hours doing it. I think on a purely practical level, I want students to understand that we have a vibrant theater department here at the university. The number of times, even on a campus as small as ours, the number of times that I hear people, well, I didn't know that we had people that do that, when we're working on a show or presenting, we're getting ready. We're in rehearsal for Little Shop of Horrors right now, which is a wonderful musical. It's a lot of fun. It was a very popular and famous movie in the 80s, and it's been running on and off Broadway for decades, and it's just a blast. And I'll have people go, well, I didn't know that we did things like that. Well, yeah, we do, and we have been for years and years and years. So just on a practical level, I want people to know this is what we do. On a metaphysical level, if you will, I want more people to appreciate not just theater, but the arts in general, all of the arts, theater, music, dance, architecture, creative writing, you name it, right? I think TV and film, right? Podcast, whatever it is, the arts are an opportunity for humans to connect with one another, to understand one another, to relate to one another, to learn and to grow, and to experience it together. And that's a very kind of woo-woo answer, I know, but it's true. I do. I believe it. I believe it in my soul. When people ask me, by training now at this point, I'm really a director. It's been a long time since I've acted, and I do it very rarely now, which I'm privileged to be in a position that I can kind of pick and choose any project if I want to act or not. But I love directing, and when people ask me, why are you a director, my first response is, I have no other marketable skills. And which is only partially a joke, because I really don't. But the other part of that is I have stories to tell, and this is how I tell stories. And that is, I think, indicative of the arts as a whole. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I went far afield. I don't know if I ever actually answered your question or not. But.
No, I understand. If you could go back to your college self, what career advice would you give?
Don't wait. Don't wait, don't wait, don't wait, don't wait. I, like a lot of kids who had an interest in the theater, my parents, my dad particularly, and my parents were lovely people. I'm very fortunate. They were always supportive of me. But my dad was like, well, that's not a real job. You need to have a real job.
Yeah.
And so I got an education degree with a focus in theater and English. And I did. I spent 8 years teaching high school 12th grade English and drama classes, and oddly coaching football and baseball. Because that was a quote unquote real job.
Yeah.
And then I was like, nah, I need to do theater full time. And so don't wait, don't wait. And that's led me as a theater professor over the years, now that I've been doing this for almost 30 years, that long ago I developed a document to give to students when we're recruiting students, to give to parents, to say, here's what studying theater can do, and here are the skills that it can teach you, and here are jobs both in and out of the entertainment industry that you can get with this degree. And I think it's been really, really helpful over the years.
Sounds like it would be. I mean, I know that a lot of parents would be concerned a little bit. Sure.
I mean, there's a little bit of the idea of running away and joining the circus, right? It's like, what are you going to do with that? But there are so many both jobs in the world of entertainment, but also transferable skills if you want to do something outside of it. And I don't know the percentages, but I think certainly of our students here at USCA who graduate in theater, a good number of them go on to graduate study in theater or go on to work in theaters. But then there's also some that don't. They go on to do other things. They work in journalism. They work in the legal profession. They're teachers. All number of things. So.
Yeah. So you said your family is one of your biggest accomplishments. With such a busy theater life, how do you make sure to stay present with your family? Yeah,
I mean, it's even double because my wife works in theater too. My wife's a stage manager and a choreographer and is the executive director of Joy and Aiken, which is a music and arts festival here in town. So over the years, we work really hard at both supporting each other in our careers, but also being there for our kids. So when our kids were younger, and now our kids are older now, so it's not that big a deal, but when our kids were younger, we always made a point, if I was directing a show or if she was directing a show, that rehearsals started late enough that we could have dinner as a family, right? We sat down, come home from work, wherever we were teaching at the time, whatever university, and make sure that we had dinner as a family, make sure there was time to help kids with homework, give baths, do all of those parent-family things, get the kids off, and then head back and go to rehearsal and do that. Working, one of the things when you work in educational theater and higher education, typically for most of us, we still want to work professionally as theater artists too, and we do that in the summer. So over the years, if I was going to work a summer gig, then Mary Fran, my wife, would be home with the kids, but then we would split it up, and then maybe the next year she would go off and work a summer gig, and I would stay, right? So it's balance, it's cooperation, and it's really good planning.
That's the hardest part, is planning it and getting it on the schedule.
Sure, absolutely.
You said that you like to play golf, quote, very poorly.
Very poorly.
What's the worst shot you've ever taken?
Well, I mean, the worst shot is the one that you just kind of miss the ball completely, which that's, I mean, that certainly is bad. But I absolutely I mean, take your pick. Miss the ball completely, just nick the ball enough that it rolls 2 inches, forward. That's always good. I have managed, maybe the most impressive skill that I've managed is, and golfers will understand this too, because I think I'm not the only one, is I can truly be aiming. So one of the ways that you kind of aim where you're wanting to hit the ball in golf is by the way you line your feet up. So I can be aiming in one direction and hit the ball in the complete opposite direction. And I don't know how I do that.
It's just pure talent.
It is, I think, yeah.
So you enjoyed The Bachelor. How did you get into The Bachelor, and what hooked you?
Okay, so yeah, trash TV, I do love it. Although there's a caveat that'll come at the end of this. I really don't remember how I started. Early on, I think early on when it first premiered, whatever, 20 some odd years ago, maybe, I think that my wife and I watched a season or two to begin with. So that was fun and trashy, and then we kind of stopped watching it. But then at some point, 10 or 12 years ago, I think I discovered, maybe even longer than that, I guess, I discovered that there was this great fun community that would watch The Bachelor and live tweet it. And I was like, well, that was fun. And so I started doing that and got kind of hooked on doing that. And then Twitter turned into a cesspool, and so I got off of Twitter, but I still kept watching The Bachelor, and I would talk about it with friends and text about it, and all of the Bachelor franchise, The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise, which is really the best one. And then this year, if anybody who does follow it realizes that they just canceled the season of The Bachelorette, and I think rightfully so. There's one thing when it's just trash TV and people are messy and there's ridiculous drama and people are behaving like middle schoolers. That's fun to watch. But when you get something actually serious like domestic assault and violence, which is what wound up getting this season canceled, I think it was absolutely the right thing to do. And I wouldn't have wanted to watch that anyway, right? Because, I mean, who wants to support that? But I'm hoping that they will recover and in the next year or so just get back to trashy, pretty people drinking and making bad choices, really. That's always fun.
If you were a contestant on The Bachelor, what would your strategy be?
Oh, I think I would actually be a horrible contestant on The Bachelor or any reality. Like even when I was young and single, and I would be a horrible TV reality show contestant. One, because in spite of appearances or thoughts to the contrary, most theater people are introverts, who know how to be extroverted because we have to be extroverted for our jobs. But if left to our own devices, really the only thing we want to do is sit in our room and read and be left alone. And the thought of being put in a house with 20 other people that I don't know is horrifying. I cannot think of anything worse than that. And so, yeah, I would just like stay in my room and read the whole time. So I'd be a horrible, horrible contestant.
You have to have an ice cold Diet Coke every morning.
Yes, I do.
Have you ever had Diet Coke with lime?
Diet Coke with lime. I've had Diet Coke with a lemon in it. I've had Diet Coke with a lime in it. It's okay. I just want Diet Coke over crushed ice, right? I mean, and it's got to be with the rabbit pellet ice or crushed ice, right? That you can get at Circle K or Parker's. It really, we've got a Circle K right by our house, and so every morning I go to Circle K and get a big 42-ounce Diet Coke fountain drink for me and my wife, and that's how we start our day.
Your morning ritual.
It
with
is,
your coffee.
right? That's exactly how we start our day, and we have for years and years and years.
So toward the end of Candid Campus, we do a segment of this or that.
Okay.
So I'm going to list two different things, and then you just say the first thing that comes to mind.
All right.
The first one's pretty obvious. Coke or Pepsi?
Oh, Coke. Every time.
Call or text?
Text. Don't call me. Look, my kids learned long ago that if they actually call me, the first words out of their mouth needs to be, "It's not an emergency." That way I know, because calls are for emergencies.
I feel that.
Right.
Yeah. Sandals or sneakers?
Ooh, sneakers.
Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Movie date or dinner date?
Dinner date, definitely.
The station or the sack?
Ooh, the sack.
Really?
Yeah, I know. I'm probably unique in that, or in the minority in that. But I like eating in a sack. In fact, all of my colleagues are there now, but I'm here talking to you. This is more fun.
Well, Paul, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Candid Campus. Be sure to check out Pacer Studios on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, and we'll see you guys next time.